Hello, my name is Bob. I'm a Noahide from Chicago in the United States, and I was asked to give a little bit of a video talking about my life and about my experience as being a Noahide. I was raised in a family that took going to church, Bible study, prayer, and service to God very seriously. This has been values that I've learned and I've followed through with during my life. Up until about 10 years ago, I was very active in a church that was, I guess you'd call it the House of Prayer denomination. If you're familiar with Mike Bickle, he's a little of a controversial minister due to some of the things that he said. But that was the denomination I was in. I took an internship on prayer, learning how to spend time in a holy atmosphere. That was what I really took seriously. Oftentimes, I'd sit in the back of the church at a table with my books, spending time praying and studying the Bible. During that time, well, we started to study as a group. We started studying sort of the Hebraic, um, trying to get a deeper understanding of the Bible, deeper understanding of our faith. That caused me to, at that time, go more into learning the rabbinic commentaries, seeking after the rabbinic commentaries. I discovered through that search that there was a much to the difference of what I had always believed. There was a living, active faith in Judaism, and there was real things that were being taught and were being followed. I learned a lot of it through Chabad on Chabad.org, an online website. Also through picking up books at a local Jewish bookstore, and I started studying these things, and I realized that um, Judaism was very much still a living religion, not what I had thought otherwise. And in the studies, um, I wanted to learn more about the cross. I wanted to learn what it really meant, what the deeper understandings were, and it just happened that it was the time that the Jewish annual study, when it was going into the book of Leviticus, I thought this would be a great opportunity. I was going to learn the sacrificial systems using rabbinic commentaries, and then I would understand what happened in the cross. When I went into the studies, though, I discovered that it was much more complicated than I imagined. There were all sorts of different kinds of sacrifices. It wasn't the one size fits all sacrifice that exists in church teachings, but it was a much more complicated. Um, Many different types of sacrifices, many different ways of doing the sacrifice. The sacrifice would be used in different methods, different manners. I really had difficulty reconciling what I was finding in the book of Leviticus from what I was finding in the Gospels. So I talked to my minister at the time, and I said, I'm finding that I really need to go into a deeper study of through this Torah cycle and using the rabbinic literature. He was concerned because he had heard that there were people that were going into a study of rabbinic literature and they were leaving the church, and he didn't want that to happen to me. So he suggested that I should do the study in the church. So we had a study group. Meeting once a week, and we would go over the Torah portion for that week using rabbinic commentaries during the book of Numbers, going through the book of Numbers, and then into the book of Deuteronomy in the summer. During that time, I was going deeper and deeper, trying to learn these things because there was just too many things I couldn't make sense out of. So I looked into something called AskNoah.org, and at Ask Noah, they were offering teaching for the non-Jew to help to explain how things work. And I took something called a 1A class, and during the summer took the classes. I was also going to church at the time, and I was realizing that what I was following in the church really wasn't adding up with what was in the Bible. And I slowly started disengaging from the church. At one point, I stopped. I decided I would only sing worship songs that were for God the Father, and I wouldn't say anything worship songs, or I wouldn't pray either to the Son. I would only pray to the Father. But then, because of the nature of the church, they intermixed things so much. I wasn't able to take it out. I wasn't able to do one without the other. So I finally just stopped going to the services altogether. The minister, the pastor called me over and said, "Bob, what's going on? What's happening here?" I said, "Well, I can't worship this stuff anymore. I can't do this anymore." So that was kind of the end of my involvement with that church. It was a bit of a social crisis, because my entire life was built around the church. So not to have that meant my entire life was kind of thrown up in the air. I corresponded with the people at Ask Noah, and I was referred to a rabbi here in Chicago. And first I was told, they had just published a new book, Divine Code had just been published. And I was told, well, first read the Divine Code and then contact the rabbi. So basically I kind of inhaled the book, read it over just a few days. But then it was also the high holidays, so I had to wait for the high holidays to calm down before I was able to meet with the rabbi. And he suggested at that time that I continue with the study of the Parsha, the study of the Torah portion. They had a class, and I started that class. And for 1 year, that was basically what I did. Was I took the 1 year, I took the class on once a week. And after the 1 year, then I started to come to services, to the prayer services on Saturday, on Shabbos, and discovered that there was a class before the prayer service. It was a class, a really intense class. It's Chassidus Torah Or, and I was able to attend that class, which was way beyond anything that I had ever imagined before. Slowly, I started coming to more and more of the class, different classes and different activities. For the first year that I was attending the services, I didn't have a clue what was going on, where we were in the services. The entire service is in Hebrew, and I don't read Hebrew. And for the beginning, for the first year, basically, I just read Psalms during the services. Eventually, I was able to start following along with I've got the, it's in Hebrew and it's in English. And eventually, over the next, that's the third year of my involvement of a Noahide, I was able to start following the Siddur. And today, more often than not, I'm on the correct page. So that's allows me to do all the things that I was raised to do. The prayer, the Bible study, service of God. I'm able to do all these things within this environment. It's a wonderful environment. Living in a big city with an active Jewish community is. I know I've heard stories about people that are out in the far away, and they don't have this, and they're trying to figure out what to do. Well, here I'm in the opposite situation where we have it all, and we're not really sure what to do either. The idea of community building, we have currently several households. There's one family, and then there's a couple of us single guys that are meeting once a week. We're going over various studies. Right now we're going over a Sika Asika of the Rebbe, a talk to the Lubavitcher rabbi gave in '83, where he started the Noahide movement at that time, where he launched it for Chabad at that time. Otherwise, yeah, we're still trying to figure out what to do about community. It's sort of easy to just be involved with the Jewish community and forget, oh yeah, there's millions of people that need to somehow get involved also, and how that transitions is still something to be worked on. Involvement in things like Shabbos and that. When I come to the shul, when I come to the community on Saturday, when I walk in the door, I put on the yarmulke and I participate in much of what's going on. When I walk out of the door, I take off the yarmulke, put it away till the next time I come back, and that's basically what my involvement here is. You know, when I'm here, I'm here, and when I'm not here, I'm just a regular guy. Although I am able to study at home, and take classes at home, but it's an exciting time to be alive. We're learning stuff. One of the exciting things, we're actually in the cutting edge, which is what we talked about back in the church I used to be involved with. We always wanted to be on the cutting edge. We are on the cutting edge right now in the Noahide movement. We're learning new things, and it's really exciting. Okay, thank you.